again, I want to invite Wally George never likes to give out my phone number on the air because he's afraid that my cold is growing bigger and bigger. So right now I'm going to announce my phone number for anyone who wants to call me who wants to attend one of our ceremonies. That's right, 677-7515. Alright, you kids, hold on. 677-7515. Anybody wants to contact me. That's how freedom is in America. People wouldn't let you talk.
No, they're just telling you they don't like scum like you, and they don't want you spreading your foul message here on the beautiful campus of USC. What do you think? The majority of you here, I think, have got the message. This man is a disgrace to our country. Don't you think so?
Let me tell you why that's a problem, because this country is a bunch of bull. This country is evil. And if I'm a disgrace to this country, I feel good about that.
Alright, let's listen. Wally, there's been a lot of talk about legalizing drugs because socially, not to get stoned and all that shit, but just social legalization. I'm curious what your stand on this.
Well, I'm very much against it because I have had doctors who have studied marijuana and other drugs for years on my program.
Name one.
Countless doctors. I'll name two. Dr. Henry Shapiro, who has studied marijuana for 20 long years. Also Dr. Keith Kenyon, who studied marijuana for 30 years and actually graduated from the School of Medicine here at USC. Dr. Kenyon. Both of those doctors told me on my program that the use of marijuana destroys brain cells by the millions, and the use of marijuana in schools has caused straight-A students to become dropouts and robots. Also, that marijuana almost always is the springboard, the stepping stone to harder drugs. And that's why I'm against legalizing drugs.
I happen to smoke marijuana and take LSD and mushrooms. I don't take heroin or cocaine. Heroin and cocaine are bad drugs, evil drugs. We only take the psychedelic godly drugs.
All drugs are evil drugs.
Marijuana is one of those things, but they argue that beer is legal and it does the same things.
No, beer is nowhere near. Beer or wine is nowhere near as destructive as marijuana. Now, I'm not saying this, I'm saying this. I'm saying this for people that I have interviewed who have studied marijuana for years. They tell me that. That's what I'm passing on to you. That's true because it's legal and it's easy to get. We make marijuana legal, that'll be easy, and there'll be a lot of people dying from that as well.
Not true, Wally. You tried federally on marijuana.
He said your utopian communist government will work. I don't think he could run a photo map. I mean,
If you want to
how it would work, I'm asking how it would work. What are you about?
Wally says democracy works. He's got no proof. I have the proof in Jamaica with the Rastafarians. They live in a utopian communal way of life. The Indians here in America, the Native American church, they take peyote. There's 1 million people into this religion. They live communally. So it's already happening. Whereas Wally George cannot show me where democracy works. You can't tell me where 30% of the people live in poverty that this country works, Wally. You can't tell me.
Oh, yes, I can. Let me answer that. Right now, we have lower unemployment than we have ever had before. We have less than 5% of the people in this country are unemployed, and wages have gone up and up and up over the years. The economy is booming. Democracy is working, and you should, speaking of working, you should go out and get a job tomorrow. What do you think?
Hey, Wally, I do work. I work for the revolution. Let me tell you something. Your unemployment things are a bunch of lies, because once you've been unemployed for more than 12 months, you're no longer on the unemployment rolls. So all those people you see living in the street are not classified as unemployed. That is a bunch of lies. That's the old story.
Baloney.
No, it isn't. No,
The
it's true.
statistics are that there are more people employed today than ever before in the past 50 years.
It's because there's more people. Why don't you use your brain on that one?
No, I'm telling you, there are less people unemployed than ever before in our history. Now think about that for a while. Okay, next
I have a
question.
question for Wally. I'm curious about a paradox. There's a lot of pseudo-conservatives around who are saying that they are against death, killing, and they're also against. Well, they're now taking the side of the blacks, saying that they're not prejudiced, etc., and so forth. Why is it, when you take a roll call of conservatives, that they're not for gun control, they're members of the National Rifle Association, or they're not for divestment in South Africa? How do you explain this paradox of the new conservatives?
I don't think that it is a paradox. I think you'll find exactly the same thing in the Democratic Party. You'll find a lot of Democrats who feel exactly the same way. Some Democrats on the Hill today are violently opposed to any form of gun control. Also the same thing about Africa. You can't just pinpoint it on Republicans or conservatives. There is a vast difference of opinions on both sides of the aisle in Washington, D.C. Where do I stand? Okay, give me the issues again.
You've been smoking marijuana while
I am totally against gun control. I'm not a member of the NRA, but I'll tell you this. When you ban guns, I don't care if they're AK-47s, I don't care what they are, when you ban guns from law-abiding citizens, what the hell does that do? Does that mean that the criminals are going to turn their guns in? If we say, okay, now, all guns are illegal, turn your guns in, does that mean that criminals won't have guns? Of course not. When we ban guns, when we have gun control in America, the only people who will not be armed to defend themselves against these kind of animals are law-abiding citizens. The only people who will have guns will be the criminals. I say I'm against gun control because I want to see every law-abiding citizen with the chance to defend himself and his family any way he can. Give him the microphone. Give him the microphone.
About beer and alcohol being available, that's why it kills more people. Isn't guns the same situation?
No, because you don't buy a beer or a bottle of vodka to help save yourself. You do buy a gun to help save yourself and defend yourself.
Which means that makes it that much better.
In your home. And as far as South Africa is concerned, I'm against all form of racism. I'm against the racist regime in South Africa. But before we go telling them how to run their country, before we tell them how to get rid of racism over in South Africa, I think we better clear up our own house here, because we're full of racism right here in the United States. I say the first thing we have to do is get rid of racism in our own country, in our own America, where we are all creatures, we are equal, no matter what color, no matter what creed, we are all Americans. And by the way, that reminds me of one thing I would like to see happen in America. I would like to see the people here in America get rid of the hyphen. I say hyphenated Americans is just divisive. Why be a black American or a Mexican American or an Asian American or whatever? Why not just be American? Get rid of the hyphen. What do you think about that?
Substitute the word poor for black. You have the same thing here in America. There's a lot of racism going on. And for you to say that you can cry racism, your views are racist. You can cry racism by
Tell me one thing that I say is, in my view, that are racist. Tell me one thing.
You're against the civil rights legislation.
I am not against. Where have I ever said that? I am in favor of civil rights legislation.
You already showed back when you used to moderate the mayor's.
You are full of bull. What you are. I have never been against civil rights legislation.
You said you're the same thing with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was against civil rights legislation.
Never was against.
You said back in 1964 that we didn't need the civil rights legislation. It's like now you say we don't need the ERA. I have a feeling, Wally, if you were back